Hello from Suffolk, England, where after a cloudy start to the morning, the sun will be shining through the rest of the day. The Lord is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble. Nahum chapter 1, verse 7. It's Friday the 24th of April, in the year of our Lord 2020, and it's time for a dose of civilised calm before the weekend. This is Mark's Almanac, your regular respite from the madness of World War V, recorded in the peace of the English countryside. After the thing was all over, when peril had ceased to loom and happy endings had been distributed in heaping handfuls, and we were driving home with our hats on the sides of our heads, having shaken the dust of Steeple Bumpley from our tyres, I confessed to Jeeves that there had been moments during the recent proceedings when Bertram Wooster, though no weakling, had come very near to despair. "Within a toucher, Jeeves." Unquestionably affairs had developed a certain menacing trend, sir. I saw no ray of hope. It looked to me as if the blue bird had thrown in the towel and formally ceased to function. And yet here we are, all boomps-a-daisy. Makes one think a bit, that. Yes, sir. There's an expression on the tip of my tongue which seems to me to sum the whole thing up, or rather, when I say an expression, I mean a saying, a wheeze, a gag. What I believe is called a saw. Something about joy doing something. Joy cometh in the morning, sir? That's the baby. Not one of your things, is it? No, sir. Well, it's dashed good, I said. And I still think that there can be no neater way of putting in a nutshell the outcome of the super-sticky affair of Nobby Hopwood, Stilton Cheesewright, Florence Cray, my Uncle Percy, J. Chichester Clam, Edwin the Boy Scout, and old Boko Fittleworth. Or, as my biographers will probably call it, the Steeple Bumpley Horror. That's the opening of Joy in the Morning, one of P.G. Wodehouse's finest novels. Highly recommended weekend reading. On this day in 1066, Aylmer of Malmesbury recorded in the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle his sighting of Halley's comet with foreboding. "You've come, have you? You've come, you source of tears to many mothers." Also recorded on the Bayeux Tapestry. The comet was seen by some to presage the triumph of William the Conqueror and the arrival of the Norman Yoke. Also on this day in 1620, John Graunt was born in London. A draper by trade, he developed the statistical methods that underlie modern demography, and has a claim to be the first epidemiologist, critically analysing London's bills of mortality and disputing the number of deaths assigned to the plague. Here's a poem, suggested by Judy in Warwick, an extract from Portrait of a Lady by T.S. Eliot. Now that lilacs are in bloom, she has a bowl of lilacs in her room, and twists one in her fingers while she talks. Ah, my friend, you do not know what life is, you who hold it in your hands, slowly twisting the lilac stalks. You let it flow from you, you let it flow, and youth is cruel and has no remorse, and smiles at situations which it cannot see. I smile, of course, and go on drinking tea. Yet with these April sunsets that somehow recall my buried life and Paris in the spring, I feel immeasurably at peace, and find the world to be wonderful and useful after all. That's almost all for this week. I'll be back on Monday. Later today, at 7 p.m, Andrew Quatermain of the Corda music charity based at Leiston Abbey by the Suffolk coast will release another episode of Piano Sanctuary. Beautiful performances, always a good way to start your weekend. Find it on Soundcloud on the Live at the Abbey page. If you need some music to wake up to, how about Wash Your Hands, a calypso from the 1930s by Roaring Lion. wash your hands, and clean your fingernails. Until Monday, stay civilized, keep calm, and please keep washing your hands. Have a lovely weekend.